All right, guys, so we are in CachyOS, and I love the cringe desktop. It's actually pretty solid. So what we're going to go ahead and focus on today in CachyOS is just learning some, basic Linux commands. So let's go ahead. First off, we're going to go ahead and open up our wonderful fish console. And if you don't like that, I can show you how to shut that off. Just let me know in the comments, and I'll add that to a video in the future. If you type clear, though, it does go away. But inside of Linux, what we do have is we have this wonderful console environment. And learning how to use the terminal is not that hard. One of the things that's a good exercise to learning how to use the console is just learning some basic commands as far as navigation inside of the console is concerned. So if you type in pwd, so print working directory, it's going to show you right where you're at. So in this situation, I'm in /home/moiety. All right, so if we wanted to take a look at what folders or files are inside of that, we would type in ls. And ls is going to give us a lot of information here. There we go. Make sure that it all fits on screen. It does. So we have .cachy, .cargo, .config. Those are called dot files. Why? Because they're literally dot before them. We also have build, desktop, documents, hyperland, all of those fun things that are in there. So if we wanted to go ahead and change to something like desktop, actually we'll do one that I haven't done recently, something like public, capital P, because it is case sensitive, UPLI, and within the fish console, it actually can autofill things for you. So if you click right on the number or on the arrow key, it'll actually finish it out for you. And then that'll take us straight into that. So if we type in pwd, print working directory, it'll show that we're now in the public file. If we want to see what folders are inside of it, we're going to type in ls again, and there's nothing in it. So if we want to go back, what we're going to do is we're going to type cd ... That's going to bring us back up one. So we run pwd, print working directory. We see that we're back in the moiety, back in the moiety home folder. The home folder is like your user file. Alrighty, so we're going to go ahead and type in cd /home, and we'll press over, and then type in downloads. And then we want to see what files are in there. So ls. So we've got some ChatGPT images that I use for the for different thumbnails and whatnot. We've got some zip files that are there. We've got the ISO for the CachyOS handheld, which is what I've been playing around with for the good Lord, if I can think of it. I've been playing around with it for the past couple of days on my Steam Deck. It also works on, Legion Go, things like that. If we want to go back, though, we could go ahead and type in cd. One thing that we would do is, so pwd, print working directory, we see that we're right back inside the home folder, is if we go and want to change to something like cd/etc, right? We can jump to that. Now, if you scroll up here, you'll see that etc is not part of that. If you know where you want to be, you can be there. So let's go all the way back to the root of the drive. So cd ... and then pwd. So this way we see where we're at. We're now in the root drive. If we do cd, so this way we go back to home where we, would have expected ourselves to be. Pwd, we're back in the main level that we wanted to be in, or could have thought that we were in. That's where print working directory tells you exactly where you're at. So if we go cd again, space ... now we're in home. If we go cd again, space ... now we're in the root. The root is designated by the slash. So we type in ls, it'll show us what files are there. And if you notice, one of them is that etc. So inside of etc, from the downloads folder, we are actually able to just jump to wherever we want it to be, where we, whatever file we wanted to be in. I don't know how else to describe it. If we do cd/etc and then ls, it'll show a bunch of different things. Now, you shouldn't be playing around inside of this, but what I wanted it to do is just kind of show you some of the, here we go. So we've got this FS tab right here. This is a file, and with CachyOS, one thing it does is it shows you read, write, and then read and read. So read and write is what root can do. So the first thing is the main administrator, root. The next line is what you as the sudoer can do. And then everybody else can just read as well. So we have some things that are read, write, and execute. Read, write, execute for the RWX. Let's see, is there anything in etc that you can, let's see. Okay, so as an example right here, we have read, write, execute, and then we have read. You can't write to it, but you can execute it. And then there will be files where the guest cannot execute it. So gives you just kind of a general idea. But we're going to hold on to that concept real quick of the FS tab. So if we go here into our start menu, pull this up. If we go here into our start menu and we type in disks. Now what disks is a GNOME disk utility. So you would install GNOME disk utility, and I highly encourage you to do it by doing sudo pacman -s GNOME -disk -utility, or dash, whatever you prefer to call it. And you just press yes to install it. I already have it installed, but you would install it, and then that would bring you to this application if you type in disks. And the reason why GNOME disk utility is so valuable is because we have these files right here. So this, or we have these drives right here. So this drive is my NVMe 1N1. Let me zoom that in for you guys real quick. It's my NVMe 1N1. So with my NVMe 1N1 drive, that is the drive that I put all of my Steam games onto. So if I wanted to go right here, click this, it could be a gear. If you're using, depending on which workspace that you're using and distro. So like in Linux Mint, it's actually 2 gears stacked on top of each other. And we go to edit mount option. I have this select, this user session defaults. I have that turned off. So this way it mounts at startup, system startup, right? So that allows the drive to automatically be mounted when my computer boots up. Let's see what I haven't played with here yet. That's the Kingston drive. So I don't have anything that I haven't auto-mounted. I think I have this entire system set up. Yeah, I have this entire system set up. So if I were to go in, actually, this is a great opportunity to kind of show this off. So we're going to see this 1 terabyte SPCC drive. This is Silicon Power. They make fantastic drives. And we're going to look for this UUID right here. We're going to look for the end part, CA7C. So 19CA7C. That's a universally unique identifier. So we're going to look for that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to remember that FS tab. If we type in nano, actually we have to type in sudo nano /etc/fs tab. Actually, we didn't need the etc because we're already in that folder. So fs tab. Sorry, still getting over that cold that knocked out my voice. What we're going to look for real quick is we're going to look for this right here, this 19CA7C. And we have that 19CA7C right there. If I were to go in and click this and then edit mount options and session default. Press OK. Now we're going to go ahead and control X, and we'll press up. Now you'll notice that that is no longer here, right? We don't have that drive in there. What this allows you to do is, because you can make a lot of mistakes that make it to where your drive isn't bootable. I've even had it to where it says this little no fail thing here. I've even had it where no fail is in there, and it still causes my entire system to lock up. I have to boot into another, either another Linux environment, or I have to boot into the recovery or into the installation media and fix this before. There's a lot of mistakes that can be made. What the beauty is of GNOME Disk Utility is you can go right in here, edit mount options, and you can turn this off. There's a lot of other things that are fun with it. This is just one of my core features. So if you have multiple drives, you can go in, and then we have this 19CA7C is right back inside of that drive. It's added as the next entry because we removed it. Beforehand, it was higher up on the list. Now it's now it's right there where we need it to be. So that's one beautiful thing with that. That being said, oh wait, no, cancel, Control X. That being said, you can also go through the process of mounting those drives yourself. If you wanted to have a little bit of fun, what you're going to need is on this one, how it does the mounting is it's mounting it from the actual mount point. I close disks. What it's doing is mounting it from the actual mount point that it's been given. So device disk /dev/disks by, and then it's got that whole string that's going in there, and then it gives the mount point. Let's see if we can get everything to fit on screen. So then this is the mount point. That's the next line. So there's a space here, and then we have auto. We have some different flags that are in here, and then we have the device's dump setting and its pass setting. So these are always going to be set to 00. If you wanted to, you can do that. You don't have to do this by UUID thing. You can actually just, and that UUID is right here. So this is the UUID for this drive. The whole thing, not the sevens, not excluding the sevens on the outside. The whole thing is the, good Lord have mercy. The whole thing is the mount universal unique identifier. I think I'm pronouncing that. Yeah, UUID, universal unique identifier. So you would put all caps UUID equals, like it has here. Then you would mount it as that mount point. So it has /home here for the specific partition. So if you have multiple partitions, you're going to have to mount each one of those partitions as well. And then you're going to put in the, if you're following it this way, you're then going to put in the type of file system that it is, versus in here, it's mounting it as auto, so auto detect. And then a bunch of flags to make sure things don't go south. And then that. This is a heck of a lot easier. I am all about making the Linux experience easier. This is going to make your Linux experience easier. The other program, now that we have that covered, so that what that does is that makes it so this way, all of these, if you notice, this one's not connected with that yellow emblem right there. That's actually not mounted. What this does is it makes it to where these can automatically be mounted. So when you have something like Steam and you log in and you load up Steam, you're not going to have to come in and actually mount these drives. Like we have here with the Kingston, we're not going to mount that just because that's my Windows partition. I don't want to screw anything up with it. It should be fine. Should be and are two totally different things. I've broken things that way. So instead of having to mount it, every single time you boot up your computer by either hitting the play button here inside of disks, or by double clicking and entering your password, it's just going to automatically mount those drives so that this way they're usable. All right. So we're going to close out of this. We're going to Control X to leave that. We're going to talk about GParted. So sudo hackman, sudo hackman, man, good Lord, -s, capital S for install. You can close out of that one. And then GParted, GParted, press yes. And that's going to install there. And then it shows, here we go. You're still in the same place. So if you look at that, we're still in the etc folder on this. So if we go to the start menu and we type in GParted, I need to show you this. There we go. Start menu, you can type in GParted. That is going to load up GParted. All right. So inside of GParted, device names are very important inside of Linux. They just are. Like the actual mount point is very important inside of Linux. So kind of get comfortable with that whole concept. You're just gonna have to get to know it. So it takes a little bit of getting used to, but I know what each one of these drives is actually specifically based off of how much storage space they have. And this one right here is my good Lord, if I can remember this is my data transfer drive that I use for swapping files between Windows and Linux depending on what I need to use. Alrighty, so this is my 256 gig drive. This is my Windows drive because I don't really live in that aside from doing some basic video type things. Maybe if I have to do some editing inside of DaVinci Resolve, largely it's there so I can play Fortnite with the wife. Tim, for the love of God, but we're starting to become more prevalent. Please add Fortnite to Linux. You spend all this damn time fighting over playing Fortnite on, an iPhone and an Android phone. Why not bring it to Linux? Android, for the love of God, Android and Apple are both a Unix-based system. They're both Unix clones. Anyways. So, if we go in, we're going to go ahead and play with my 2 terabyte drive. If we want to do something like copying partitions over, we go ahead and we're going to need to make space for that to go to. So we go move and we can just drag. I swear to God, this one's not going to let me do it. Why is this one not going to let me do it? Oh, unmount. Here we go. Unmount, move and resize. Yes, there we go. So say we wanted to make it roughly about half the size. That's going to remount, or that's going to reallocate. We're going to click the imaginary. There's a check mark right there. I don't know why it's not showing up. Maybe something with my texture or my image pack. There's a little check mark right here. We're going to go ahead and click OK and apply. It will not save any changes unless you click the green check mark. So it's going to go through and do some provisioning for this drive real quick. And once that's done, I'll be right back with you. So this way I can actually show you how all of this works. All right. And then it's just reprovision the drive or resize the drive. We can go ahead and click close and say we wanted to go ahead and copy this one and paste it over there. And then we go ahead and click OK and apply. We can now copy all of the files from this one over to this one. So while that runs, I will click pause. All right, and that's it right there. Just click close, and now we have two drives that have the exact same, or 2 partitions that have the exact same information on them, and you can actually see that here. So we have split the drives in half. So if I boot it up here, we've got our Steam library and our Steam apps. And if I boot it up here, we got our Steam library and our Steam apps. It's pretty simple here. We'll go ahead and we're gonna just delete this one, and then we're gonna go ahead and unmount real quick, and then resize and restore it back to its original luster. So that'll just take a moment for that to forward possible changes, because yeah, you're fine. I'll go ahead and inform it that there's changes to the drive. You're fine. Let me go ahead and fix this real quick. Okay, so I broke some things. Maybe next time I shouldn't mess with the Steam drive to give the demonstration. Anyways, after getting all that back together, this way I can show you this. I have Heartbound installed, right? So say you've been running off of your main drive, right, for where your OS is installed to, and you want, especially because if you're going to distro hop, to be able to have a specific drive set for the purposes of doing like having files or your Steam install, because Steam will actually automatically scan the drive. In this situation, I've set up this demonstration. We're going to go here to Steam and then to settings. And then we're going to go over here to storage. We're going to go ahead and select the games that we want. Now, these two are required to be on the main drive. It's just how Steam has it set up. It's, just what's needed. They're like main dependency files. We're going to go ahead and select this. So we're going to select Heartbound, and we're going to move it. And then we're going to select the drive that we want to move everything to. So select move. It moves all of those files over. So if we go over here to our 2 terabyte drive and we select that sucker, we will see that Heartbound is now there. You can do that with multiple games. It just takes a little bit longer. I select Heartbound because it's really lightweight and easy to work with. And you can go ahead at any future date if you decide, hey, I want to throw this onto a different disk. You can move everything over to another disk. You're not limited in the number of times you can transfer everything over. All right, and lastly, for just this particular specific one, for this demonstration, we're going to go ahead and back inside the terminal, and we're going to go ahead and install sudo super user do pacman package manager -S for install and htop. Now, what htop is it's just a system monitor, right? So it's like when you go into Task Manager and you monitor what your system, go to System Monitor where you can see your hard drive and your RAM and your VRAM and all of that, and your system storage. Htop just monitors everything here. So we've got, because we're programmers, so 0 is actually 1. So if you have 12 core or 12 thread, right? You've got 6 core, 12 thread. So here's your physical 6, right? And then here's your virtual cores, your threaded. So we've got 12 ways to for our drive. We have our memory usage, so it's going to be color coded. So this purple, at least for mine, because that's how I have it set up. This purple is where the current usage is, and then kind of projected, and you've got that. And then you've got our swap space, where we're going to be able to see where our swap space is at. We've got our load average, our current uptime, which is 1 hour and 41 minutes, because I had to restart for doing that data transfer from one drive to the other. And then we have our current tasks that are being used. And if we wanted to, for example, filter them or search for a specific one, so we're going to look for OBS, we can see where OBS is running for all of that. And then Control C to go ahead and close that out. So yeah, that's just kind of like a really basic, easy way to monitor your system. All right, and then to go back real quick to the terminal side of things, I forgot to mention how to copy and paste files from inside the terminal. Obviously, it's going to be faster to just copy and paste it inside of the user interface. But as an example, if you were to, I don't know, say, go off and nuke out your entire desktop environment and potentially have wrecked a bunch of stuff, and you're left with the screen that says TTY and login, where you enter in your username and password. This could be something that's helpful for you to know. All right, so we're going to go ahead and do pwe print working directory. Right, we're in Moiety, and then we're going to go and let's do downloads. So cd/downloads. I don't know why my brain said that. cd/home etc. There we go. Moiety downloads, and then we're going to do ls. We type in copy. All right, and then we'll just go ahead and select chat, GPT, just random one. And then we're going to delete this because I've already shown this in another demonstration. So then we're going to go ahead and do paste. And then we're going to do home/moiety/desktop. And I should have probably done this with the bigger screen. We've got this lovely little chart that I use for showing off how to boot into your specific menu. Sorry, I have a cat underneath my feet and she keeps distracting me constantly. Alrighty, so we have all of this kind of set up this way. I've got it right here so this way we can see it. If we wanted to cd/home/moiety/desktop. All right, and then we do ls. Now we see that there's that JetGPT thing. We do rm, and then chat, and then press over on the arrow key because it's the only one that's there. If it's not, you're gonna have to be more specific. And we go ahead and remove. Hey, look at that! It's already been deleted. So real easy commands, something that's simple and easy to use. The last thing that I'm gonna do. And then we're CD all the way back up. Okay, the last thing I'm going to show you how to do is, if you've noticed, I haven't had to enter any passwords. On a laptop, I would highly, highly recommend using a password. If you are sharing this computer with other people, I would highly, highly, highly recommend a password. If it's just you, or you're like in a situation like me where I'm not really concerned about it, I don't store anything that's like, like taxes or anything like that on my computer, on this computer, nor do I store any file of passwords, stuff like that on this computer, because it's meant for gaming and making content creation. I don't need to accidentally log into the wrong thing. If you're in that situation or an applicable situation and you are tired of passwords, if you go off and type, then this is going to be super controversial to some people. If you go ahead and type sudo passwd -d and your username, it will delete your password. Now this could be horribly stupid, but in my particular situation, it makes things a little bit faster versus constantly during recording videos having to do that, or in installing applications or games, testing out different things. It's just kind of obnoxious for me to have to deal with. So I don't use a password unless it's a computer that is secured, in which case I'm also using encryption and a bunch of other things. So kind of get the idea. I'm a little lax on certain levels of threat model. So yeah. And I guess the last thing that I'll leave you with is Lutris. I don't have because I restarted, I don't have my list up here. So I'm going down my list in my head and I'm realizing that I forgot some things. So sudo pacman package manager -S LUTRIS. Now what Lutris is it allows you to play game. It's like a Steam launcher. I am looking at another launcher that I found out about. I want to test it a little bit. So if we go ahead and open up Lutris the same way we would with anything else, for example, we have Cyberpunk that's right here. I'm already logged into the account. The one thing I'll say is that Epic Store does not work. I can't get it to work, at least because they've added additional things to prevent people from using the Epic Store login. So, but GOG works here, the EA app works, Ubisoft works, and you don't really need Steam because we just use Steam. But you can put everything all into one place. So if I were to do like Cyberpunk or Surviving Mars, and we go ahead and click install, And then we go right here. You can do it with DLCs if you'd like. Click continue. Click continue. You don't need any of the additional. If you'd like any of this stuff, you can grab it if you have it. Click continue and install. And then it will take an eternity to install. So just once it's done, it works just like Steam. You click on the game and you click launch. If you have any questions or any issues, don't be afraid to pop on into the Discord and ask. I'm happy to help. For the sake of getting this video out and the fact that I was way behind time this weekend due to me being out sick, I'm just going to go ahead and send this off. This is really easy. It's cut and dry. If you want to click download on everything, go for it. Lutris is solid and it's very reliable. And provides access to things, specifically having a good old games account. So that's where we're at. Thank you very much, guys, for watching. If you like this video, give it a like. If you want to subscribe, I would highly appreciate that. We are almost at 1,500 subscribers at the time of this recording. And I thank you for all the attention that you put on to this channel. I will also say that after doing my Lutris video, good Lord, cat hair. After doing my Lutris video, I had been playing around with it a couple of days before I then really got into the weeds with it and started to do the video. And then I've stayed on Lutris. Fedora was my favorite distribution. And I'd been using it for 6 months. I didn't see a time where I would be leaving, but CachyOS, good Lord, I've been saying Lutris that entire time. CachyOS has been a complete freaking joy to use. And yeah, I've been rocking it out with CachyOS. And enjoying some of it's not really tweaks that like most people would notice, especially if you're like new to Linux. You're not going to see or feel those slight differences, but if I can, I'll put together like a comparison between just vanilla Arch and the CachyOS with the CachyOS kernel. I have noticed that my FPS counts are a little bit higher. I've noticed that games feel like they're running a little bit smoother, and my streams I'm able to do just a little bit nicer with less issues, except for something's been going on with Comcast. Oh wait, it's Comcast. Yeah, that's probably where my problem is there. AT&T hit me up for the love of God, please put fiber. Just it'd be great. So yeah, but yeah, that's where I'm at. I'll see you guys in the next one. Also, I have been rocking CachyOS on my Steam Deck, and it has been beautiful. So we'll probably take a deep dive into that here soon enough. See you guys in the next one.